I'd like to welcome you to our study in the book of 1 Corinthians. Today we're in 1 Corinthians, the 3rd chapter. We're going to be looking primarily at verses, starting with verse number 14. But before we get into verse number 14, just to lay the groundwork and the context, we're going to go back to verse number 13. The Apostle Paul is talking about the burning up of works, the fire that's going to come. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, when is this going to happen? How is this going to happen? Is this going to happen in my life? Is it going to be something that's going to happen in the future? When is it going to happen? Well, the Apostle Paul actually tells us. He says in verse number 13, each man's works will become evident. And then he says, for the day. When the Apostle Paul uses these words, for the day, he's talking about a very specific day. What's he talking about? I believe that he's talking about what we call the Bema Seat judgment. Now let me clarify what this means. This is not the judgment of heaven and hell. There's going to be a judgment called the white throne judgment, where there's going to be the sheep on one side, the goats on the other side, and God's going to say to the goats, you're going to have to spend an eternity in hell because you did not accept the sacrifice of my son. And they will go to hell. The sheep will move on into heaven. When we get to heaven, we're going to stand before the Bema Seat. Now you say, what is the Bema Seat? Well, the Bema Seat was a seat that was used during athletic events. And it was where the umpire would sit. And he would watch the runners go around the track, or he would watch whatever was going on, the wrestling or whatever was going on during the games there. And he would watch and make sure that everybody was playing by the rules. It wasn't a thing where if you lost, you were sentenced to hell. No. It was a judgment of your works, of how you played the game. There's going to come a day where every believer is going to stand before the judgment seat of Christ. And he is going to burn all of your works up. And some of it is going to turn out that it was made out of gold, silver, and precious stones. And no matter how hot the fire, it's going to remain. It's going to be there. And some works are going to be dust. They're going to be gone. They're going to be completely incinerated. And that's what the Apostle Paul is talking about here. Now let's go to verse 14. If any man's work which he has built on remains. Now again, he's talking about a foundation. He's talking about if any man's work which he has built on it remains, he will receive a reward. You see, the Bema Seat is going to be the place where all of a sudden all the unimportant, ungodly things that we've done, not our sins, but our ungodly works, our works that we've done with the wrong attitudes and the wrong motives, they're going to be gone. And you know what's going to remain? What's going to remain is the works that we did out of obedience to God, out of a right attitude, out of faith towards God. Those works will remain. And you know what? Then God's going to take those works and he's going to say, here is your reward. What's a reward? It's something that's given to you because you did the right thing. Here's your crown. Here is the crown of a person who is overcome. Here is the crown of a person who's been a witness. Here is the crown that you receive as a victor, the victor's crown. That day is going to happen. And all of our works, no matter if you've had a huge ministry or small, you know what? Your works are going to be judged according to your faithfulness. I've said this before. There's two criteria in judging works. Well done, thou good, morally excellent, and faithful servant. Enter in to your rest. Let's go on to verse number 15. If any man's works is burned up, he will suffer loss. You know what? I think this is going to be a time where there's going to be people that have a huge pile of works. And all of a sudden the fire comes down and nothing's left. And I think it's going to be a time where people are going to say, what happened? Well, what happened is you made those works out of your own motives. You made those works so that you could be seen by men. You made those works out of pride, out of jealousy. You see, one of the greatest problems in the church here in Corinth, and Paul is addressing it, was this thing of jealousy. Oh, I need to know more. I need to be wiser than my buddy, than my friend, than my brother, than my sister. And what Paul is saying, guys, you know what? When it all matters, when it comes down to the day where you stand before Jesus, all of that stuff is going to be gone. And you're going to suffer loss. And then he goes on, but he himself will be saved. You see, this is not the judgment of whether he's going to go to heaven or hell. That's already been settled. This is a judgment of the works of a believer. He will be saved. Why will he be saved? Because he trusted Jesus for his salvation. He will be saved. And then he goes on, yet also through the fire. What's he saying? He's saying you're going to be saved, but you're going to have to go through this fire process where your works are judged. I hope and I pray that you understand the importance of being faithful to God and doing works that are out of faithfulness to God, and doing works that flow from a good heart, from a morally good position, instead of, well, what can I get out of this? How can I motivate this person to do this for me? You see, those types of works are going to all burn someday. Be a person that sets in your heart, I'm going to be faithful to God, and I'm going to be a morally good person with good intentions and good attitudes. And you're going to see on that day a reward for what you've done. Thank you for watching. God bless you. Join us again tomorrow.